Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Academy. It's all about entrepreneurship, women development and empowerment. In this edition, we'll be featuring the NECA's network of entrepreneurial women Maiden Summit, tagged the Catalyst 2014. It was aimed at reorientating and inspiring female entrepreneurs to experience a paradigm shift that would spur them to become great national builders. The keynote speaker, Mr. Lami Ulishola, a life coach and psychologist, highlighted on the virtues of an ultimate virtuous woman. Enjoy.
Now, some are asking, who is an ultimate virtuous woman? Well, I want to take us through 4 critical steps and questions and answers. How does the world define you as a woman? 2, how were you created? 3, I'd like to share some examples of women that have impacted nations. And 4, I'd like to share how a woman can begin to build a nation. The dictionary cannot tell you who you are. It is the one that created you that you should be listening to. It's the one that can tell you who you are. Now, going back to Socrates, says, what are the 3 most important things in life? He says, know thyself. A man cannot determine who you are because he did not create you. Only the Almighty can tell you who you are because he created you. In Genesis 2:15-24, I found how you were created. And you were created by the Almighty. And what did he do? He had created the first human being, a male being called Adam. And he put Adam to sleep. And he did a spiritual surgery on Adam, and he pulled out a rib. And from Adam's rib, he created. Tell your neighbor, you were fearfully, wonderfully and skillfully created. What does the Creator call you? What does your Creator say about you? Your Creator says that who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above grace. Oh, did you hear what the Creator says about you? Yes. It's not about twerking. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Just stay with me. Far above rubies. Why would the Creator equate you to a ruby? So, the question that I have for you is, what is a ruby? A ruby is a pink to blood red colored gemstone. Say, I am a gemstone. I am a gemstone. So, the value of a ruby is determined by 1, its carat. And the higher the carat, the higher the value. The carat of the ruby reveals the character of the ruby. The more character, the higher its carat. And the higher its value. Ask your neighbor, do you have character? Now, so if we understand that character determines carat, and the carat determines the value, then it's important for us to understand what the most critical character traits of the rarest and most expensive rubies are. Tell your neighbor, know thyself. Know thyself. Now, the most expensive ruby is called the heart-shaped 46.63 carat Burma ruby. This ruby has a price tag of $14 million on it. No wonder God says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far more than. Oh, the most expensive ruby is $14 million. your price is far more than $14 million. I want you to settle it today. That God has put a price tag on you that is far above $14 million. If you carry yourself any less, you will be despised.
Well, you know, there's one critical component for being a catalyst, and that is love. But love comes out of knowing who you are. Love comes out of accepting who you are. Love comes out of knowing the purpose for which you were created. Love comes out of, knowing the solution that you were born to be. Love comes out of solving the problem that you were created to be a solution to. Love comes out of service to humanity. And so if you do not understand all of those dynamics as I've explained it, it will be impossible for you to build yourself and to build your family, talk less of you building a nation. So it starts with you knowing yourself. They asked Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers of our time, what the three most important things in life are. Socrates says, 1, know thyself. 2, know thyself. 3, know thyself. And they asked him why the same answer 3 times. He says, if you do not know yourself, you can never, ever become yourself. So you must know yourself first. You must become yourself. You must live for the purpose for which you were created, and you must begin to solve the problems that you were created to solve. And that is your own assignment to nation building. But there must be a critical motivation that drives you. And that critical motivation must not be money, it must not be fame, it must not be popularity, it must be love. And so the chief catalyst of nation building for every woman and every man is love.
Also at the event was Dr. Nadu Denloye, who is the former GMD of Telnet. She spoke on sustainability, structure, and succession.
How many of us remember Kingsway stores? Where's Kingsway stores? You know, Concord Airlines, Concord Bookshop. So, that is the Leventis. And so, so our businesses can grow, but then we have companies that have been doing well, maybe been in existence for 150 years, 100 years. How old is UAC now? I think they were 1930-something or so. So that's an example of a company that has survived. So what are we talking about when we talk about sustainability, right? It's about thriving in the long term. We are going to die, so maybe the business to go beyond our own time, and just being able. It's not just when we die. Businesses die anyway. How many businesses die even in their birth stages? How many businesses die when it seems as if things are going right? So these things happen. So when we're talking about sustainability, we're talking about the foresight to build the future. Yeah? You see the sigmoid curve? So at the time when you are right up there, before it starts declining, you're already designing for the unseen future ahead. Beginning second and third curves. But guess what? The time is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. Why? There's an exponential rate of change. We're living in times of exponential change. There's the shifts in business, in the shifts in life generally, in the way we live and all that, they've never been bigger. So this is the context in which we're looking at how we remain sustainable, how our businesses continue to thrive, even in the face of these changes. Disruptive technologies, we're talking about wearables, we're talking about the watch, right? So who knows, maybe we won't even need physiotherapists anymore. By the time, I know all about what, my body, physiotherapists, doctors and all that, I can tell what is wrong with me. Just yesterday on CNN, there was this thing about Google coming up with, the nanotechnology research, where they're looking at nanoparticles that search for cancer cells. So they can detect cancer cells even from, so who knows? Maybe, maybe we could still have doctors, but not in the way we see them now. So things are changing so rapidly. Just imagine. So, and then we have infinite number of competitors and intensity of competition for business and for competence. Okay, it's not just your traditional, the people you think are your competitors. But you know, from the disruptive technologies, look at the banks, for instance. Okay, now, you know, you have people that are doing mobile money that are not bankers. You have the operators, then you have other companies. Okay, so things are just changing rapidly. So you have to be aware. There you are, sitting in front of you, and you think you're there. Then all of a sudden, it's not just about improvements in what you're doing or the kind of services that you're providing, but something new, totally new, can come ultimately from nowhere and disrupt your business. And so this is the context in which we're looking at sustainability. In the face of all these changes, in today's context, how do you remain sustainable?
I think entrepreneurship is not about gender. It's not about male. It's not about female. There are certain things, and as I talked to what I said, there's capacity to change, right? You know, and the issues of values and leadership. Those are fundamental. Capacity to change in terms of knowing what's going on. And first of all, you have to have a business, know that you have something to be able to offer people as a service, because without the customers, you don't have that. So basically, first of all, there must be something that is valuable, is of value to customers. And then also the thing that, to keep a business going and thriving, particularly in this day and age, you've got to be able to have an eye on the marketplace, know what's going and what else you could do. And then there's the thing about, building a culture within the organization of values and being the right leader so that people want to stay. You have the competencies, you have the people and all that will develop the business with you, because you can't do it alone. But I don't think there's a gender thing to entrepreneurship. However, having said that, I think women are innately, wired to be entrepreneurial.
The new Maiden Summit has indeed brought to the fore the vitality of female entrepreneurs who will be the key drivers of the economy. I'm very sure you've enjoyed this episode of the Academy. Please do contact us on our social media platforms, Facebook and Twitter. Till next week on the Academy, thank you very much for watching.